In the episode Vergangenheit from the Netflix series The Crown, we witness the revelation of the Duke of Windsor's Nazi sympathies and collaboration during World War II. The episode explores how secret documents known as the Marburg Files expose Edward's communications with Nazi leadership and his potential willingness to support Germany's interests against Britain. Through these documents, it becomes clear that he sought to use his abdication and exile as leverage to regain power by aligning with Adolf Hitler. His vanity, gullibility, and sense of entitlement blinding him to the devastating consequences of his actions, revealing a monarch willing to betray his country and his duty for personal gain. The discovery deeply affects Elizabeth as she grapples with the betrayal of not just a family member, but a former monarch who abandoned the duty with which he was entrusted by misusing that position, prioritizing self-interest over the interests of the nation. By seeking favor with tyrants and pursuing his ambitions at the expense of democracy and decency, he not only lost his legitimacy, but risked morphing into the very tyrant he once sought to appease. Edward's actions are a metaphor for the fragility of power when wielded by those driven by a combination of political naivete, ego, and resentment. His willingness to associate with the Nazi regime shows how vanity and self-interest can override one's duty to country. This serves as a cautionary tale about how even those born and raised to serve as monarchs can fail spectacularly in their responsibilities when they prioritize personal desires and grudges over national interests. The episode demonstrates that the institution of monarchy, despite its traditions and safeguards, is ultimately only as strong as the character of the person wearing the crown. William made a solo trip to France this week where he visited with Trump, of all people, who praised him for doing a fantastic job or something along those lines. And William seemed more than happy to indulge the man who once made a bet with Jeffrey Epstein to see who could sleep with his mother first. Trump at one point was obsessed with Princess Diana and made many offensive claims about her when it became clear that she was not interested in him. At one point, claiming that she kissed his ass, prompting her brother to clarify Diana's true feelings about the former president turned convicted felon and soon to be president again. Strange times we're living in, folks. What was interesting was the fact that Charles missed the event with William attending in his place. And make no mistake, this was done on purpose. Charles, like his mother before him, made clear her feelings for Trump, and let's just say that it wasn't exactly flattering, but not William. Desperate to burnish his image on the global stage as a statesman, William will do anything. Here is William jumping at every opportunity to placate the implacable Trump, which left many observers wondering who is the real monarch here. And nothing could stop him from inserting his loafers into his mouth during his meeting with Trump, who was happy to report that William told him his father was fighting cancer hard or some such thing. Jesus, is this guy dumb or what? And whether intended or not, this only made Charles appear weak and ineffectual. And not to mention the disrespect. It's like he's already measuring the drapes at Buckingham Palace. But considering all that has transpired, especially in light of revelations that Harry now has access to emails from members of the royal family with the press, due to his dogged determination not to settle the lawsuit, it's not difficult to understand William's motives and why he is so eager to be in Trump's good graces. Recently, there have been rumors of threats of deportation that have lit a spark of hope among members of the British media who thrive on fabricating negative stories about the Sussexes. Some months back, the Heritage Foundation, a conservative think tank, tried to lobby to have Harry deported. This was no coincidence, folks, but part of a plan by the British monarchy themselves to wrench away their princely property from his adopted homeland and return him to his rightful position as royal footstool or something. But it didn't work. A judge threw out the case, citing its obvious frivolity. But these people feel emboldened now that Trump is returning to power. Harry, of course, maintains that he's not going anywhere. Now, Trump's feelings for Harry and Meghan have been no secret ever since Meghan once called him divisive and a misogynist. And Trump, textbook narcissist that he is, goes after anyone who does not bend the knee to him. Last week at the Deal Book Summit in New York, Harry made it clear that all the headlines we have been seeing for months about him wanting to leave his wife and children and to go back into the royal fold are complete nonsense.
Apparently we bought or moved house maybe 10, 12 times. We've apparently divorced maybe 10, 12 times as well. So everyone's just like, what? So yeah, it's hard to keep up with, but that's why you just sort of ignore it. The people I feel most sorry about are the trolls who their hopes are just built and built and built, and it's like yes, and then it doesn't happen. Right. So I feel sorry for them. Genuinely, I do. I mean that. But yes, I have no doubt that everything that we've spoken about today.
And you already know who I believe is behind these stories, which are part of a greater PR strategy by members of the royal family to wear down the Sussexes, starting with Camilla. Last week, a new documentary was released about her. Now, it's hard to tell if it was an indictment on her character or part of the ongoing effort to sanitize her image. But the most revealing part of this documentary was the confirmation stated by Harry that Camilla has long been behind the scenes feeding negative articles to the press in order to build up clout and prop up her own image. Probably as far back as Princess Diana, Camilla seems to have made a cozy pact with the devil. And this is the main reason for Camilla's ire toward Harry. He exposed her, and that is unforgivable. Then, of course, there's William, and there's no need to reiterate why he hates his brothers so much. Pretty much the same reason Camilla hates Harry. He exposed them both. And last but not least, there is Kate, who I believe still holds a flame for Harry and is behind much of these reports, simultaneously declaring the Sussexes' marriage to be on the rocks, while hers is rock solid, despite all evidence to the contrary. Kate missed another glitzy tiara event this week. While she was there to greet the Qatari emir and his wife earlier in the day, the glitzy banquet at Buckingham Palace, however, capping off the visit, seems to have been off limits to Kate. Now, Kate's absence from this tiara event may have been another power move by William, Whatever the case, you can always tell when these two are embroiled in a back and forth. William forbids her to do something, then she threatens to go back into hiding. And folks, throughout the day, one couldn't help but notice the acute awkwardness between the Waleses. At times, they came off as nervous, out-of-place guests mulling around an art gallery, interacting with no one, including each other. And during their golden carriage ride, because nothing says modernize the monarchy like riding through the city in a horse-drawn golden carriage, their estrangement was strikingly noticeable, with Kate at times appearing quite sorrowful. The entire situation ranged anywhere from the comical to the absurd, starting with Kate's outfit. Now, if you didn't know any better, you might feel prompted to show her your boarding pass. The weirdness didn't end there. After the initial visit, as the group walked the ground, Kate, out of nowhere, performed a flawless curtsy as the group casually walked ahead, oblivious to this earnest act of fealty. Now, folks, for me, this bizarre moment only calls into question Kate's state of mind. Something has ruptured between her and William, and it seems she's aware that Charles, like Elizabeth before him, is probably her last line of defense, and she is desperate to remain in his good graces. It was revealed last week that Camilla thinks that Kate isn't quite up to the job of queen, and that she has serious misgivings about Kate's ability to rise to the occasion. As Christmas approaches, William and Kate were rumored to be opting out of the royal family's traditional Sandringham gathering to spend a more middle-class Christmas with the aptly named Middletons. For months, the press has been going back and forth about will she or won't she be spending Christmas with the family. William, though, seems to be joining the boycott this year, as it was reported a while back that Tom Parker Bowles, Camilla's son, would be in attendance, and that William refuses to be in the same room with him. Does this guy get along with anybody? Well, it seems according to this Daily Beast article, William disapproves of Tom's rather louche lifestyle. Now, I'll have to admit, I did have to look that word up. Now, Tom Parker Bowles has a reputation as a Mayfair bon vivant. In the 1990s, there were once allegations that while attending the festival at Cannes, he offered cocaine to a journalist who was posing as a partygoer in an alleged sting. This person later accused none other than Ghislaine Maxwell of human trafficking. Now, the mere mention of Epstein or Maxwell in any context is radioactive. If this is the reason for William's coldness towards his stepbrother, well, who can really tell? And finally, Kate appeared separately for probably her final official public engagement for the year, the caroling event, with William arriving in a separate vehicle. And folks, you could have heard a pin drop. Behind the rows of barricades stood throngs and throngs of no one. Now, folks, this was supposed to be the most popular royal. What happened? It seems in recent months, her popularity has plummeted. Now, could this have anything to do with the big mystery that started off the year, or increased skepticism about her so-called cancer battle? I get the feeling that the public is onto them. Last week, it was reported tragically Liz Hatton, the young photographer and cancer patient pictured here embracing Kate, succumbed to her illness. Now, putting things into perspective, here you have someone who may have had nothing more than pre-cancer cells, as per Rhiannon Mills, claiming to have fought a valiant cancer battle. Then you have Liz Hatton, who clearly fought and lost that battle. What's particularly galling is the way this so-called battle has been wielded at convenient moments. But lately, Kate seems desperate to escape the shadow of her own manufactured illness. The media dutifully reports that she is now cancer-free. But at the same time, they trot out the cancer narrative whenever it suits her image. Now, I don't claim to know what truly happened to Kate. Only those secretive little shrews behind palace doors know the full story. But let's be honest here, folks. Does Kate look like someone who's been through the ravages of a cancer battle? The whole affair reeks of opportunism and a cynical ploy to bolster her image at the expense of those truly suffering. And this may have something to do with the public's lack of interest. But only time will tell, and what's in the dark will surely come to light. In the meantime, the world braces itself for what is almost certain to be a very tumultuous year ahead. And this may very well be the last Christmas for Charles. And with the future of the monarchy in William's hands, there may be dark days ahead. So drop a line in the comments. Let me know what you think. And just be interesting to know what your feelings are about the coming year, whether you're feeling optimistic or pessimistic. And I enjoy reading your comments and seeing what you guys think about all this. And let me know what subjects you'd like me to cover next. And I'll catch you all in the next video.